All right, what's up, you guys? UFO Proof here. Hopefully, you should be able to hear me and see me now. I was having some issues, so I'm using my other computer, which is terrible, which really sucks. And so the fan is probably going to get awfully loud, and it's just a pain in the butt. Make sure this is going public. All right, yeah, it is. Okay, good. So I'm going to pass out the link. I'll put the link in the comment section on YouTube. Oh, man, I feel like shit. All right, there's a link, you guys. All right, we got that muted now. I guess we'll kind of wait for Jax to get on here and let him kind of start it off, because since it was his idea, hopefully he'll be on here soon. Man, I feel like shit, dude. Yeah, I look like fucking death. Yeah, I know. Was it coming through good, the video quality? Yeah, the color, I have to adjust the color through other means. Let me see here. I can hear my fan running like crazy. There we go. How's that? Should be a little bit better. Yeah, too bad I don't drink. Yeah, but you sound like shit. And it's not the mic. Oh, I know, dude. I'm sick as fuck, dude. Um, oh, where is Jax, man? He's supposed to be on here. What up, Bobby Cash? What up, Forerunner? You guys doing good? Cons, Deadwood, Sean, Tony. Yeah, it takes a vitamin C. Yeah, I know. Oh, shit. What up, Cubid? How you doing, brother?
All right, mate. You do realise there's nothing wrong with you, don't you? It's just man flu.
It's just what? What'd you say, Cubid?
It's just man flu, Carl.
Man flu.
Man flu.
Yeah. Yeah, it sucks, man. I got like a sore throat. Shit like that, dude. But, like fucking sinus problems, man. I was waking up all night, man. I had like the worst fucking headaches. It's fucking I was having the weirdest dreams and shit, dude. Oh, it sucked.
What was going on with your audio before? Did you?
Oh, I don't know, the stupid computer just um I just had to run like I had to just troubleshoot it real quick. It was fucking something simple. It was like the enhancements was turned on for some reason. And I don't know why it does that. It seems like it turns itself on every once in a while. And you just have to click it off, dude. And it started back up. But then when I started, it my camera wouldn't play. Then all of a sudden my camera wouldn't work. I'm like, what the fuck, man? So I'm like, all right, fuck this. I'll just switch over to my other computer. But now it's so fucking loud, dude. Yeah, come on in, buddy. Shit. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to fucking do this actually, man.
If you need to get off, get off.
Yeah, I feel like shit, dude. This fucking sucks, man.
Yeah, you be a little gay bot and go away.
Where's Jack at, man? God damn, that computer's so fucking loud. Well, we're supposed to be discussing what if humans are not from Earth. I don't know where Jax is, but um I guess we're just gonna have to fucking start it without him. Just hoping that he would like to start this off, man. Hang on, let me grab a pop.
Hey guys,
Hey Nick,
how are you?
I'm good, mate. You doing all right?
Aye, sound aye. Kyle, you okay?
What up, face like a bum?
All right, mate.
Yeah, just a little sick, dude. I'll survive. So anyway, okay, I guess I'll start it off. I've always thought that no, Kruger, I don't drink, buddy. Uh yeah, I always thought that there's a possibility that humans might not come from Earth, and there seems to be quite a bit of evidence to suggest that. What up, Jax?
How you doing? How you doing,
Hey,
Q?
Jack. I'm good, mate. How are you?
Good.
Jax, you want
How
to
you doing, Face?
start this off, man?
Start. Yeah. The evidence that I've seen in recent years, past few years or so, is starting to look more and more like possibly maybe that Mars was very similar to Earth, and that they actually found a liquid, what they claim is liquid water. How true that is, I don't know, but that's what they claim. So which the theory is that maybe we came from Mars. If that's the case, if Mars was so similar to Earth at one time, I mean, let's face it. I mean, when they first started off, when they first landed on Mars, okay, back in the what was it, the 60s or something,
70s, yeah.
70s. The first video feed that came out, you'd swear to God they were on in Arizona.
Yeah.
A lot of people have come out, and even the president was told that it looks just like Arizona, the desert in Arizona. And then the next feed came out the very next day, it was red. How is that remotely even possible?
Well, I mean, like, I think when they were describing it as Arizona, more or less just like the desert, with the rocks and everything, you know. But it does have all the dust and everything on Mars is really red. Um, so and sometimes you're gonna have there's like sometimes where you actually have like almost like a blue sky or whatever. But um a lot of times the red dust is just in the atmosphere, and so it kind of gives it like that red hue to everything, because there are so many sandstorms and stuff on there. But you got to think, just the distance from Mars to the sun is so much further that it would constantly be cold there. So I wonder how true that really is about it being like Earth. I would think just the distance alone would, cause it to not have, most of the earthbound stuff. Like, how would water be water on Mars? Wouldn't it just be ice? Or, it just makes me wonder,
But one would have to wonder how thick is that ice, and is there liquid water under that ice?
Oh, great. If I can Apache, duh.
He muted himself.
Good, thank God. Now, what were you saying, Jax? What were you saying, Jax?
I was like, how thick? We don't know for sure how thick that ice is. And eventually, under that ice, there would have to be some liquid water somewhere.
Well, like the ice caps on Mars and stuff, if you melt them, they don't turn into water, they just turn into gas, And so it's not actually water, it's like frozen, I forget what it is, like methane or something fucking weird. But if you were to melt that ice, it wouldn't turn into water, it would just turn into gas and like evaporate away, man. Like kind of like dry ice does,
Yeah, I still think if it had oceans, there's evidence you could see ocean scars on the surface of the planet.
That's true.
And I think personally, this is just my opinion. I think that there's liquid water under that ice. I really do.
Possibly.
There may well be.
Oh, there we go.
Go ahead.
There may well be liquid water under the surface on Mars, but how did it get to Earth if it started life here? I mean, did Mars get smashed into by something and bits of it flaked off and they came to Earth? Because the bit I can't get me head round with this whole part of the subject is you get a meteorite fall into Earth and it burns up in the atmosphere. And okay, you might get a little rock landing, but how much life can that little rock carry? Yes, it probably can carry life, but how much life could that carry to actually start life on Earth from Mars? And how did that life fucking evolve into us and everything else? I mean, is Mars the only thing that has put life on this planet?
Well, you got to think that if it had just like the building blocks of life, like certain amino acids and sugars and stuff like that, that's really all you would need, that and time, So if you have, the right amino acids and the right sugars and stuff, and then time, eventually you should get some form of life, I think, I think is what they're trying to say, like at least with the beginning of life. What up, Cyrus? How you doing, brother?
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Cyrus.
So
how you doing,
I mean, I think that it's definitely, I think that it's definitely possible that life could have sprang up on Mars first. But I mean, which one is older? Is Mars or Earth older?
I think they're about the same, formed about the same
Right.
time.
Yeah, I think they're about the same time. So it seems like I mean, it seems like
4.5 billion years old.
it seems like you would need like one of them would have to be older than the other one if one was going to transport life from one to the other, because that means one would have had to have life first, and if it did, how did life get onto Mars to begin with?
It's possible that Mars, since it's smaller, it cooled down sooner, so conditions for life might have been favorable there before they were on Earth, because Earth was still molten. Plus, Earth had another, we think, had another planetoid crash into it, which melted it all over again and formed the moon.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that theory before. That's actually in the Sumerian text as well, I believe. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the CIA remote viewing that they did on Mars. Does anybody know about that?
Yes.
Yeah. They basically they gave these remote viewers back in the 1970s coordinates, and there were coordinates for Mars. They didn't tell them where it was. I mean, this is all on the internet. I forget but it's on the actual government CIA website. And long story short, they basically the remote viewing encountered these beings, these tall humanoid aliens on Mars, and saying that they were taking refuge in this huge pyramid because Mars was overrun by like natural disasters and whatnot. And I guess their atmosphere was getting messed up, so they built this huge pyramid, which some people say that it was the Cydonia site on Mars, where the face is, and the 8-sided pyramid and everything. But that's interesting, right there, man. It's very possible that
story.
Yeah. It's a remote viewing story. Yeah, that's true. Yep. But I mean, it's that's I think it plays into what we're talking about as well. So like all that fringe science and whatnot. Because I mean, what the hell do we really know about Mars, dude? So.
I mean, I like to think that. Put yourself on mute, buddy. I like to think maybe it's not necessarily Mars, as in maybe we could have. Maybe humans could have been brought here or created here. It seems like there's some species on Earth that also just seem like they don't really belong, and then humans really don't seem like we belong. Whereas we kind of do the exact opposite of what every other species on the planet seems to do for some reason. Whereas we don't really adapt to our environment per se as we do change our environment to suit our needs. We don't grow fur. Instead, we just kill an animal and wear its fur. And we don't we need shelter and stuff like that. We can't survive in without shelter and being protected. Even though every other animal does. I mean, humans will die of exposure, whether it's cold
That's
or heat
actually
or whatever.
That's actually a very good point you bring up, man, because humans compared to Neanderthals are a lot less suited for this earth. You know what I mean? The Neanderthals were actually, a lot stockier. They were a little shorter. Their bones were a lot, heavier as far as the mass size, so they were built, pretty rough, man. As to Cro-Magnon, man, like us, we're pussies compared to to the other species that were on this earth, dude. So our brain capacity is a lot larger supposedly, but there is some extinct species that do have larger cranial capacity than us. So
Leroy Jenkins in the chat brought up a really good comment. He says, "We are parasites."
That's correct.
I happen to think as well, as far as all the population goes and whatnot, that we are killing this earth, and that's basically the definition of a parasite, so.
Oh, I mean, like as for like humans coming to Earth, or like being created here for Earth, it seems to me like how I mean, like humans seem to have like really bad back problems and shit like that. You think like our bodies would have had, would have adapted to like the force of gravity and shit like that. And it seems like you know we should have been stronger or faster to take down prey, since we are you know omnivores or carnivores. We're hunters, and but we don't seem to do that for some reason. It seems like we do like basically the opposite, where everything else adapts to its surroundings in order to survive. So if a fox is living in the Arctic, his fur turns white. He's white so he can adapt to survive. If he was bright orange, you'd be able to see him coming a mile away. But humans aren't like that. We don't seem to um, adapt to the surroundings like we should. And
So basically, what you're trying to say is that you seem like humans are apart from nature than being as far as part of the whole, nature thing. Like you said, like animals and whatnot. We actually change our environment to suit us instead of living peacefully with nature as it is. So yeah, I agree with
but
that.
yeah, instead of like, and how every other animal, they just like a fucking just sleep outside, and they don't like necessarily, most of them don't need to build a shelter of any kind, and their bodies are just conducive to the environment around them, and they just survive. But humans will literally die of exposure either which way. If you're just naked outside, you'll just die. Even in like halfway decent conditions, you just die from exposure. You can't be like outside naked without suffering the consequences of it. Now, why is that? I mean, for what, hundreds of thousands of years, we supposedly were just running around naked outside. So why haven't our bodies? Why did we like de-adapt to it or something? It doesn't seem to.
That's actually a theory of mine, and I mean, considering that our technology isn't as advanced as it should be. I mean, it's 2017, people. We should be flying around like the Jetsons by now, and we're
Right.
not. Okay, our technology has only been around for like 70 years, if you really truly think about it. So where do we get that technology? Maybe it's because the fact that maybe, just hypothetically speaking, if these UFOs that are coming to Earth and they are guided by extraterrestrial intelligence, why are they here? Are they checking up on us and wondering why we're not as advanced as we should be?
Yeah,
That's my
perhaps.
theory. That's my theory.
You know. I mean, like
Okay.
Hey,
you think
Cons,
about. You think about.
Cons
You
put
think
up
about the.
living in the Arctic for long enough, we would all grow fur.
Say again,
Yeah.
Cupid.
Cons put up in the chat, living in the Arctic for long enough, we would all grow fur.
That's
And
what
then
it
he
would seem like we
and
should, right?
and then he added, because we're not going to grow it in one lifetime. That may be passed down during generations. But then he then put up, give me a few million years, I'll be sporting a sexy fur. I thought it was a funny comment.
Yeah, I mean, like, is that what it would take? I mean, how long would it take? Because apparently it took a lot less than that, uh,
It would
for,
certainly
the
take
different races
really
to
long, wouldn't it?
develop, you know,
I mean,
it's
if the temperature went down on the planet right now, right today, we had no heating because all electricity went out, would we all, in 3 weeks' time, all be big and fucking fairy? No.
no, we,
Um,
we grow our own, like we would. The thing is like we didn't grow our. In fact, not only did we not grow fur, we lost our fur. You know, so well, I mean, like, why is that? And if So say the theory of out of Africa is true. Well, we went out of Africa and we supposedly traveled north, and and where it's a lot cooler temperatures, and where it got colder is where we lost our fur. That doesn't make any bit of sense.
Wow, I never thought about it like that, dude. That is really counterintuitive, man. Because supposedly, the theory of evolution goes that we lost our fur because we started to sweat because we were starting to run down animals like the Kalahari Bushmen. And if we did have that gene in us, like it would have been a repressed gene. You would think that once we hit that those colder climates, that it would come back. So yeah,
Right.
that's a good point.
Right. Cyrus, what are your thoughts?
Sorry, I was typing a message. um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of we're kind of the only ones left, but there were other species of hominids that were running around only until about what 15,000 years ago, 13,000 years ago, maybe even less. Well, actually, a lot less than that, because I believe they said they found Homo floresiensis fossils in the island of Java from just a few thousand years ago.
Like 10,000 years ago, I believe. Yep.
Yeah, so fairly recent. Yeah, it is weird. I mean, we actually do have all of our fur. It's just really short and it's clear, so you can see right through it. If you compare like the number of hair follicles we have to like a gorilla or a chimpanzee, it's about the same.
Yeah, but our fur it wouldn't protect us. It doesn't do anything for keeping us warm or anything like that. Look at our fingernails. We couldn't call them claws. Who's Apache? Put yourself on mute, buddy. We wouldn't be able to call them claws, and our teeth are not really sharp, or it seems just strange that we're so we're apex predators, and yet we don't have any of the attributes of any other predator. Even just like a regular omnivores, we don't have the same attributes as them. Why is that? I mean, do you think it's because purely because of our intelligence, that since like we stop evolving physical characteristics because our brain had evolved and made us intelligent, or hyper intelligent compared to everything else, kind of change everything to suit our own needs. So there's happened.
That's an interesting thought. Could the fact that the human race, if you like, has become that intelligent that we don't need to grow fur, we'll just kill a fucking animal and put that fur on us to keep us warm. Has
Correct.
that maybe slowed down our evolution in that aspect? Evolution as in we're a creature, we're an animal, if you like, that will evolve to adapt to its climate and different circumstances and food needs. But the fact that we've got so fucking brainy, so clever, that maybe we don't need to adapt anymore. We'll just make what we need. That's a little bit weird.
Yeah.
That's actually an interesting thought, because I've been playing around with this concept lately, which consciousness isn't a side effect of evolution. Evolution is a side effect of consciousness, and if the way that you just explained it basically said it, because if we were at one point monkey like and whatnot, and then we've our brains automatically, not automatically, but over time came to this one point where we were actually smart enough to fend for ourselves, then no, it's that's actually a pretty good theory, huh?
Well, face like a bum. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, we are obviously a product of a revolution. Q had it right with if we no, hang on a second, Randy. We became so intelligent that we've evolved the need not to grow, well, say fur or whatever. I think that type of evolution happens really quickly, rather than the slow evolution of like growing, like evolving out the use of the appendix or whatever. But I think that's what it is. But as for coming from Mars, I think that's just I could say no to that. I think we are just a product of our environment, as you will see. The difference in people evolving closer to the equator are darker skinned than people like for the Caucasus Mountains being pale skinned. You know what I mean? That's a slight but a massive evolutional jump. What was that
But
you were right to say, Kate?
Nick, what was the thing that seeded the planet to start
Yeah,
all this
well, that's the thing.
life?
Well, we've got this panspermia, or we are just a product of the evolutionary product of the place and time that you are living in. You know what I mean? It's life. The thing is, life will happen anywhere and everywhere, but it's got to happen where you understand where you are. Yeah,
I know exactly where you come
it's
from.
really hard. You
and I
know what I mean?
agree.
It's really hard to describe, but we are
Yeah,
the
no,
way we are because we evolved where we are.
And I
yeah, I
think it's
kind
the
of
same
understand
on
what
other
you're.
planets.
Yeah, exactly. If all the ingredients are there, why can't our planet, actually produce it? And I mean, I like the panspermia theory, but that's I tend to go with the ingredient theory. If all the conditions were right, and the sun is the exact distance that we need to be to have a great atmosphere and whatnot, I would have to say that yeah, that life originated here, and to those people they say that it might have originated somewhere else. Then how the hell did their life originate? You know what I'm saying? So it had to start off somewhere where all the. I really do think that the Earth does have all the ingredients to actually create life. I mean, we're living in it. You know what I mean? So I don't. For me, I don't think that there's a need to put humans away from Earth, but we are going back to that, what Kyle was saying, we are a fucking really, really different species from everything else on this earth. I mean, there's no fucking question about it, So that does throw question marks into my own theories, man. But it's always good to talk it out and hear other people's thoughts on it. So
Well, Apache does the creation of life have to come because of the same circumstances that we've had? As all life in the universe got to come from a planet like ours, blue and green, blah, 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 and all the bullshit. Can life only come from that type of a planet? I mean, we base all our life forms on carbon, but there's other things out there that can support life.
oh yeah, definitely. I believe that this is just my own theory. I believe that the universe is filled of life, and I think we all think of that, and it just all depends, where because where you're at, basically, if your atmosphere, has methane instead of oxygen, and of course you're going to evolve differently. But I do think that the basic building blocks of life are out there, spread out throughout the whole galaxy, and I believe that there's life everywhere, and not only ours. Ours is obviously different, and that's why we have so many reports of so many different alien beings, because obviously if these beings do exist, which I'm not saying they do, which I'm not saying they don't, but if these beings do exist, they obviously evolved in a different type of atmosphere than we did, because they look so different from other reports. I've never seen one, but I've done a lot of research on it, so.
Yeah, I think that if we look at like some of the other theories like the aquatic ape theory and stuff like that, it seems to me that we are so different. Now whether you could call it God, or you could say that it's aliens that brought us here or whatever. Either which way, you'd have to admit that it doesn't seem like humans are the same as the as every other animal on Earth, and that, you know, we are the apex predator on this planet, you know, and it could just be because our, you know, our evolutionary path, which was intelligence, was so superior to everybody else, you know, as opposed to, you know, being stronger or faster or being able to camouflage or whatever, that, you know, intelligence was such a superior evolutionary path that, you know, it, that really the changes, it forced these changes to happen where it, you know, we became slower, we lost our fur, we weren't stronger, we, you know, we lost our sharp teeth, or we lost our claws, or whatever, just because, you know, intelligence is such a superior line of evolution that it really it you know, it kind of de-evolves your body, and, you know, it's like your brain gets bigger, your you know, your mental understanding of reality gets, you know, better. You're better equipped to handle any situation, and you could basically, we could kill any animal and we could survive anywhere on Earth. We don't even have to have Earth, we can survive in outer space. We do it all the time, you know. So it seems like,
Hey,
go ahead.
yeah. Yeah, Kyle, while you were talking, dude, a word came to my mind, man, that you know, because I fish a lot, dude, and I'm like an avid outdoorsman, and you know what happens to the species of a place when it gets hit with an invasive species? It fucking basically decimates the fucking population, man. You know, like it changes the whole ecosystem, and I kind of want to say that humans act like an invasive species to this earth, man. You know?
Somewhat, you know, but there are a lot of humans who live perfectly well with nature and with everything else, and, you know, so I mean, like, only a part of us do that, and even the you know, the people who don't live like in nature or whatever, you know, still uh for the most part try to, you know, try to take care of their environment or whatever, you know, and try to protect it and try to survive with it, you know.
Yeah, but when a superior race of humans comes across a lower race, you know, if we've got guns and they've got shitty pointy sticks, they're the slaves. Yeah, that's just a human thing. Humans always fucking dominate and take over when it's a lower powered population generally. You know, that's
Yeah,
been shown in history. And
no,
that's
that's
maybe
really
a
true.
flaw. You know, it's a flaw in the human mentality, maybe. You know, if all humans on Earth were all working for the same cause, we would be out in the fucking stars by now. Yeah, there wouldn't be stupid fucking wars to do
Yeah,
with this thing we call religion. Bollocks. Fucking bollocks. If we were like an ant colony, we would all be working for the same cause to make the ant colony better. And that's a flaw with humans.
you know, is that really a flaw, or is that, you know, like,
I think it's a product of just fear, the fear of death, the fear of not having food on the table the next day. It all comes from fear, and how fear can be manipulated in such a way that that you
Yeah,
don't see it as being the fear that's it's giving you this flaw.
but if we all saw it the same way, like a fucking ant colony, there's
yeah,
no flaws there. They are all aiming for a goal, and the goal is to make that colony supreme wherever it is, to make it bigger, to make it better, to make it stronger. If the fucking human race came together instead of bombing themselves and doing all the shit that goes on in the world that we see every
Yeah.
fucking day in the news, the
First, you need to get rid
human
of that
race
separation.
would be out on the planets now. We would be frigging out there. It wouldn't be, oh yeah, we're looking at Mars. Look at these amazing pictures. Oh, is that a UFO? We'd fucking be on Mars by now. You know what I mean? And
No,
It would be awesome if that could happen.
So that brings up this question, man. So humans for hundreds of years have lived peacefully with this earth and, you know, not fucking it up like we are right now until the Industrial Revolution came. So are humans per se, individually, are we part of this world, but society and our culture like we have it today, is it toxic now? You know, because for thousands and thousands of years, man, you know, up until, like Jack said, you know, up until the revolutionary, what is it? I just said it, dude, but
Industrial Revolution.
Industrial Revolution, man, you know, we were still, you know, good with, as far as, you know, the earth goes, not all this pollution. And, you know, I just read yesterday that in India, that there's a fucking cloud of smog in one of its fucking largest cities, dude. You know, it's fucking horrible, dude. So is the way that our society is going right now, is that the fucking problem? Which I think it is, man. As far as, you know, the pollution and our throwaway society, dude, you know, it's just, we live in a fucking throwaway society, which is one of the worst things, where back in the day they made shit to last, man. You know what I'm saying? They made shit to last. Yeah.
Trying to get back on point to where, you know, humans coming from, you know, our humans, did humans come from Earth? You know, I wouldn't say, you know, like, I believe like it's quite possible that just as well that, you know, it's possible that we were in fact genetically created like an experiment from an extraterrestrial race, perhaps, and perhaps that helps explain why we are so different on Earth. Now it's either going to be something like that, or like I was saying earlier, the fact of being so intelligent causes your body to basically stop evolving and like de-evolve to a more suitable thing where your body doesn't need as much energy, because your brain is so powerful that you're just able to outthink every other animal, and outthink your environment and your weather and how to survive. So I guess that's most likely probably true, as opposed to aliens creating humans. But you know, I like to think that, you know, that would be a really cool way to go. But chances are it's probably not correct. But you know, I could see, like, you know, you look at some of the other species on Earth, and like jellyfish are all clones from the original jellyfish, you know, and that's like a mix between like a plant and an animal, you know, like, you know what a jellyfish like looks like when it's born, you know, it doesn't come out a little jellyfish, it's like a little plant in the like bottom of the ocean, dude. It's like a little polyp or some shit, dude, you know. And see, Cyrus knows, you know, and they're all clones from like the original fucking pod. Now, where'd that original fuck come from, you know? Like aphids, you know, aphids are all asexual and they are born pregnant, you know. So it seems like, you know, some species on Earth don't really seem to be a part of it as well, you know, and maybe that's just our way of looking at it. Perhaps that's why it seems like humans might not be from Earth. But I guess if you look at how some of these other species are and how they don't really seem conducive to the natural cycles of Earth, then, you know, perhaps it does make sense then that, you know, we in fact just, you know, born on Earth, and, you know, like, we don't actually come from anywhere else, man.
I seem to remember reading some article where they analyzed mitochondrial DNA in humans, and then they compared that to DNA sequences found in bacteria, and they were the same DNA sequences. So mathematically, there's no way that those DNA sequences could just be random. We have to be related in some way to these bacteria.
Yeah,
so we have a common ancestor at some point. Although I think,
you know,
I think the idea that somehow the original ancestor of the bacteria and us came from someplace like Mars, I don't think it's impossible. I don't think it's impossible.
It could be possible, you know, and Cyrus is right. And in fact, I believe we share like 50% DNA with the fucking banana tree, you know? I mean, it's something like that, dude. It's something weird like that. Something like 50 or 55% the same DNA with a fucking banana tree, dude. You know? So, but I mean, like, you know, it's you know, and even though that is like, we do share that much DNA with them, and like apes are just, you know, we share like 99 fucking percent DNA or something with them. Just one fucking hang on.
Woof, 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 growl, woof.
Yeah, I think life just has this amazing way of trying everything out, and some things work, and when they work, something more comes from that. And things that don't work, they die off. I think life just tries every fucking which way, and that's why we've got such a weird you know, a weird table of different life just on our planet. I think
The diversity.
Yeah, the diversity. That was the word I was looking for. Thank you, Cal. Yeah. You know, we've got life living at the bottom of the oceans, where water coming out of the planet is that hot. If you were there, well, you wouldn't be able to get there. You'd be fucking dead because of the pressures. But if you were able to fucking stand there, you'd be boiled to death as well. You know what I mean? But you've got stupid little fish and prawns and shit like that. You've got fish that are born without eyes because they don't need them, because there's no light where they live. You know, I think life, it's a weird thing. Life is a weird thing to
I I hate to quote Jurassic Park.
everything.
I hate
Apache, all right?
what's that?
Wait, make sure you stay on mute when someone else is talking, all right?
Yeah. You know what, guys? I'm actually gonna get out, but I hate to quote Jurassic Park, but life finds a way, man. So I'll talk to you guys later. All right.
All right, Apache. We'll talk to you
All
later.
right. See ya. Bye. Yep.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
perfect quote. Life finds a way.
Yeah.
I agree, man. And what are they saying in the comment section? So Kruger is saying 13,000 years ago, something happened after which there was a major change on the surface of this planet, which is that Earth became a single species planet before multiple intelligent species. You know, I think that there were possibly other, you know, I don't think there was ever any intelligent species other than Homo sapiens. And I think as soon as we got that, as soon as, like, you know, we got selected to have that as our evolutionary, as our defense mechanism, you know, our means to survive, we wiped out everybody else, you know. So in Neanderthal or any other hominids that lived with us were fucking our competition for food and had to be taken out. You know, we had to wipe them out. And just like any animal that would have been competition for us. And I think before we would allow them to become intelligent, we would try to take their entire species out, you know. It seems like that's the smart thing to do. If you're smart, you're going to say, well, you don't want someone else smarter than you coming on the block, you know, and taking you out. So before we let them have that chance to get that smart, we need to wipe them out. And it seems like that's what we would have done, you know, because we would do that to any animal, and we probably would have done that to any other people, you know, any other hominids that we thought were a challenge to our food or our dominance. And, you know, we do not live outdoors, so our nose should disappear. I don't know about our nose disappearing because we don't live outdoors, but, you know, there are some things that don't seem right, you know. Like, what's the point of having a fucking appendix anymore? we don't even need an appendix, you know? It's like, yeah, we still have them. They're basically, I think they're basically like atrophied as soon as you're born. They're basically useless, right?
Yeah, but weren't they originally supposed to be to drain out impurities from blood from what we were maybe eating, like if you like poisons from blood,
Yeah,
something
something like
that.
that.
They were
Yeah.
like a filter, weren't they? But we don't eat raw meat.
It was
Jack.
said to be a filter, like as you're a fetus. It's supposed to be like what the fetus needs to filter out all the impurities and stuff like that. And then when you're born, you've got no use for it because you know everything else comes into play. Your kidneys and your liver.
Yeah, it's like that the kidneys and the liver like do now what the appendix did do.
Yes.
You know, so it's like, well, I mean, if that's the case, why the fuck did we start growing a liver or kidneys to begin with if we had an appendix? You know, it just seems fucking weird, you know.
We've got a lot more shit to filter out nowadays as well, so I don't probably the appendix wouldn't do the job that the kidneys and the liver does now.
We had an appendix up until fucking we invented alcohol, and then fucking the appendix was like, I can't deal with this shit.
No way, man.
I'm done, dude. Nope. Yeah. I'll leave that to the kidneys and liver.
That's a theory anyway.
You know.
But they actually still don't know. They've admitted they still really don't know what the appendix is and was for.
You know,
Jax, what do you think is the best proof, if you like, or what's the best reason for life coming from Mars to here and kickstarting life over there? What's the best reason, would you say, Jax?
I would say that if it was Mars or any other planet, I think that they knew that the planet was dying, and to save the species, they brought us here.
What, sent out probes or people on a craft or whatever?
Right. Exactly.
So you don't think it was, if you like, an infection from Mars that was accidental because of a huge explosion or war or blah blah blah? You think it was? You think it could have been done intentionally, or would you say it could have been done passively?
Well, that's another theory. It could be, some type of a war, a plague, or something that was going to wipe that planet out, and the healthy ones they brought us here to thrive, and possibly just the planet was overall dying. They used up the resources or whatever, and they just brought us here. That's another theory. So
you're talking directed panspermia.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the theory that, life is not only is it spread out throughout the universe, but it is in fact directed by an intelligent species to go certain places. And so whether it's done through a comet or if it's done through a UFO dropping off fucking life on the planet, either which way, it still comes down to the same, those would still be in the realm of directed panspermia. I see that, I could see that being the case, possibly, just because we are so different. But you'd still would need time for or whatever, or for life to actually be able to take hold and survive, through the different epochs and stuff like that. It doesn't seem like humans would have survived, any of the other like global ages, any of the other epochs, like like the Jurassic or Cretaceous or I mean, it doesn't seem like we would have survived any of those up until the Miocene period, And what did we say that went through from 2.6 million years ago until what, 12,000 years ago?
Yeah, it was something like that.
What period
I mean,
are
just
we now?
The Holocene.
A Holocene.
Yep.
Yep.
What do you think they'll call? What do you think they'll call? What do you think they'll call like this age? You know how like we had that like the like they had the Iron Age and the and like the Stone Age and shit like that. What do you think they'll call this age? Like the computer age or the oil age or
Yeah.
something?
No, the politically correct age or the fucking feminine age.
I mean, just look at like just look at the Pleiadians. They come from the planet Pleiadia, supposedly.
Oh, they come from the star system, supposedly, the constellation.
You know, they look just like us, except they're extremely fit and they get blonde hair.
I'd do a Palladian.
So would I. But the thing is, my point is that if that species is true, could that be how we're supposed to be? I don't know. All I have is a theory.
I mean,
You know,
yeah, perhaps,
just
you know. But it seems like, okay, well, if that was the case, why do they only seem to affect a small population? Like, like because there are like the Nordic races tend to take after the Nordic people of the Nordic civilization here on Earth.
Correct.
So perhaps perhaps there's different species of extraterrestrials who create their own little babies or whatever, their own little offspring to for their species to survive. So maybe like the Incas had a race of aliens that genetically modified them to be like the Inca, or the same goes for like the Egyptians or the Nordics or something like that. Perhaps that could explain why we have different races to begin with. Oh God, I got such a sore throat, dude. It fucking sucks.
Yeah, you sound like shit, and it's not your audio tonight.
It's right,
Sorry, mate.
Yeah, if you need to cut it short, don't worry about it, man. Get some rest.
Yeah.
You what? Yeah, I know, dude. I think I'm gonna call it good, dude. And I'll see you guys probably tomorrow night or tomorrow morning. But yeah, I think I'm gonna. There's an excellent discussion, you guys, and I want to thank Cyrus and Face Like a Bomb and Jax for bringing it up. A QVid.
You're welcome.
We'll carry it on in the after chat, man.
No worries, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and try to relax for a little bit, take some medicine. For joining me today.
Yeah, for anybody listening in the chat, if you want to jump on, come on for the after chat.
Yeah.
Come on for the after chat. Come on, go jump on here. I'll post the link one more time for you guys.
Thanks, Kyle.
Here we go. Boom. Boom. There you guys go, man. Yeah, dude, I feel like shit, you guys. But thank you guys for coming and joining me. And where do I email you some info, Kyle? Oh, right here, buddy. Hang on, let me get you my email address.
What's up?
How you doing, Shield?
Yeah,
Not too bad. Is it still live or?
Yeah, it's still live right now.
Kyle's about to go off. We're about to do an after chat.
Yeah. I want to say bye and get rest, man. A lot of fluids.
Yeah, I will, man.
You sounded like you're fading out fast.
Crap. Yeah, I know. I look like shit, dude. Thanks, you guys, man. I'll get better, man. I just need to get some food in me and a bit, man. I feel like shit. All right, you guys, enjoy. If you guys want to jump on the Hangouts with these guys, click it now, man, and we'll talk to you guys later. All right. All right, everybody.
All right.
UFO Poop out.
Later.
All right, later, you guys.
See you later, guys.